the king is always involved. I'll come up and be clear with this one. If that was the case, the unrest should have started before the death of Thabang. People are supposed to be talking we're supposed to be talking before that event. We need to be honest to ourselves and say maybe there's a lack of an instrument that allows people that have voted for MPs to withdraw them if they are not performing. We need to look into those things and be faithful in responding to these questions. We are jumping the gun to point at the high authority as a problem. We need to look into the system, one, accept the system, read the Constitution with understanding. Then we need to start criticizing issues that are supposed to be performed according to the Constitution, which are not followed. I'll make an example that among the people that we choose, the Topo and Tinvuna, we have a regional council, which makes decisions for that region. But maybe because of ignorance or lack of knowledge, we have never had anybody challenging that council, the work of that council, which improves, that council is supposed to improve the life of every Swazi from regional level or Itingundla level. So these are the things that I think we just assume maybe because this critical issue that we need to look into. They are saying we are opportunities, maybe we have been paid. That's a language that we are used to. But we need to be faithful and say, are we not being pushed by the agendas of financiers? Because some of the groups in Swaziland, most of them are financed outside the country. Are we not suffering just because some few individual knows that secret? Every funder normally brings in his or her, their agendas. So I'm saying yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All due respect, even currently, the Mitosa is being funded by Taiwan. So yes, there is no government that can operate independently in Africa right now. We are at the level yet. Everyone is here, takes the PhD. So Naskulma funding, that is a story for other days. Sengibuya ke kule point yakho Nkosi yeko ukuthi nawuthi the system there is a constitution. May I ask you, we've got 2 MPs right now, yes, who are incarcerated. The Constitution, lokhuluma ngayo wena, claims and demands that they have a fair hearing.
I'm with you.
They have a fair hearing in front of a very objective judge. Now, before I even get to hearing, yalama MPs la incarcerated, ngicela khuluma ngezabe kokuthi baboshelwe ini. Nangabe we've got murderers running amok. Lama MPs lawa aboshelwe ini endeni lithini lizibithi yini lephethwe ngalama MPs lokusho ukuthi naku ke lokwentiwe ngilama MPs yiko ke sesifike la sifike khona. Uyini lokho? Sangibuyela kule constitution lokhuluma ngayo lothi thine namuhla asiyilandzele thine leyo constitution. The very same constitution that now uthi wena there's nothing wrong with the situation in Swaziland except ukuthi we need to be able ukuthi sibe nema channels ukuthi sikhokhe ama MPs la ngaperform whatever. That is not the problem. We have a higher problem. I problem yethu inze ngendlela lenze ngayo le problem ifike elizithini. Uyangiva Nkosi.
I'm listening.
So,
yes.
So when the constitution not we must believe in so much that has neglected the rights of a Maswati, Mtandeni, and the other MP, Maswati, Abasibo Bokhamba, Maswati. But their rights have been neglected. They've got cooked up charges. Hey? Kuthi namnyelo wambona Mthandeni ashisa, kuthi namnyelo wambona lo munye please help us there. Scala sito ukuthi le constitution lokhuluma ngayo solo ngiyo yini le bophe bomthandeni.
I want to come out clear that nobody can celebrate an arrest of any person. But we shouldn't jump the gun now and conclude that the system or the judiciary is unfair to them. Let's allow the process, and then we can draw conclusions there. Because we're talking about an issue that is before the court. The court might come up clear and say, there are no charges, as we are saying. But are we supposed to be taking the seat of the judicial and conclude case before it passes through the court? Let's allow the court to do the process, then we will talk after that.
Okay, sir. Please, the same court that you are asking us to allow for a process is the same court that grants bail to murderers. But other people cannot get bail. Is that the same court that you are asking us? This is the same judiciary that you are asking us to adhere to. Lena lethi nangabe awukachazi lo munye umuntu utawuboshwa for indefinitely. But mine lengidubule wena. Yenkosi, ngidubule nje wena. Ngiyaphuma kusasa. Uthi mina namuhla angibelieve kuleyo court leyo naleyo judiciary system leyo. Yenkosi kungiko. Nawubuka wona kuyalingana. Whose life have they threatened? Never mind threatened. Whose life have they taken? Bomthandeni. Kuthi wena namuhla ungathi mine trust in the same system that has killed over 60-something people. Yaphinze yahamba, yabopha MPs labathunywe njengoba bokhuluma Nkosi. Uthi tinkundla ti-democratic.
Yes.
Vuma ke Nkosi ukuthi nangabe tinkundla ti-democratic labantu labe bathunywe bomthandeni lalabe babakhethile phela ngile democracy. Bantu labe bakhethe bomthandeni bathuma bona bomthandeni ukuthi salo niyotshela laba bantu ukuthi sasifuna ukuthi khethela MP. Bekubantu bekungile democracy lokhuluma ngayo lothi wena tinkundla tiyayifavor. Bantu bathumela MPs abo from etinkundleni ukuthi sasifuna ukukhetha MP. Bathi nabakwenda labo bomthandeni bakuphi nyana abekho ejele. Le democracy yenu iphinze ithi nangabe upractice lokufunwa abantu lothunywe abantu uthi nawuceda ukupractice uphinze uboshwe. Ngilo lokutshela kona lokho Nkosi. Utositshela lokho na sitinkundla idemocracy yetinkundla iyabopha. Sebenta kubopha.
Giving them the chance. Maybe we need also to correct the said by people. I don't know what evidence you have that you can support that statement, because we know that petitions came after they've spoken. We know that their forum as MPs for representing their own Tingundla centers is in Parliament. And we know that they did not only talk or speak in Parliament, they also spoke on the streets. I can further justify in saying there were issues of petitions. Petitions which were petitioned in a number of Tingunda, maybe almost all. These petitions we can query, as generally speaking, we can argue about their authenticness. What do we mean when we say a petition is authentic? The kind of a system we're using starts from chiefdoms to Ngundla Center. You may have 7 or 2 chiefdoms. Then we need to have evidence that people met in each chiefdom, discussed about the issue of petitions, agreed minutes should be there, and then they were taken to Ngundla Center. But what we saw is not the case. The number of people that submitted the petitions were not even a number of people that particular MP won elections. People that voted for him to win the final elections. We believe that these petitions were not authentic. However, the issue is before submission of petitions. When members of parliament wins election to represent their own Ngundla people, they are expected to speak in parliament, influence the other MPs on a genuine issue, and then the issue is going to be won in parliament. I don't want to be seen talking about their issue specifically, but I want to talk about issues in general. That if you fail to influence your colleagues in parliament, you therefore have no justification to go out there and try to influence people outside, because we also have our own MPs which we have given an agenda to parliament. Maybe I can end there for now.
Thank you, sir. But you know, I'm struggling with your train of thought. I'm honestly struggling, because when you say if you cannot influence your colleagues, kanile democracy lokhuluma ngayo yini? Ngoba i-democracy lokhuluma ngayo ngilabantu, nithi phela i-democracy. I-democracy akusibo ama-MPs lahleli ku-parliament. I-democracy ngithi. Now uthi wena, it is not legit. Lama petitions.
Yes.
The petitions are not legit. If you are saying the petitions are not legit,
Yes.
based on what? When we saw there were matches. You know how legit the petitions are, my brother. The petitions are so legit. You are in this space today. Had the petitions not been legit, ngaba ukho lana Nkosi. Ngabe solo siyaqhubeka sigibele amabhasi siyahamba siyowakha umthelo sakhela ema-Rolls Royce. But because the petitions were legit, because the petitions were rightfully so, we have a burning country.
Did you understand? I think you need to understand the operation of the system. We're not voting with minority groups in Swaziland. In Swaziland, we vote according to our areas of Tingunda. An MP that goes to parliament represents the people that voted for him, not the whole population. So when 2 or 3 MPs come into parliament and they are not supported by the others, we are talking about 59 Tingunda centers here, then that tells you what the people want. That's the understanding that we should have. But if the 59 were to agree, or many of them, the Constitution talks of 1/2/3, agree on a certain item, it goes through, or motion, it goes through. The legitimacy of petitions Let me say it again. In an umphakathi in an ingundla where we have 7 chiefdoms, there needs to be evidence of meetings and outcomes from those chiefdoms which can lead to the major petition to Ingundla Center. Here we are talking of people who were less than 30, maybe, to sum it up, less than 30 in most of these imphakathi who submitted a petition. That is not a representation of the people. That's the goodness of the system of Ingundla. It's not about a certain party or a certain group of people. It's about the whole population in that umphakathi. Yes, you can then vote, then you can lose there. But an MP, it must be clear, represents and only represent the people from his Ingundla. I think that's
okay.
That's,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sir. Before I throw to the floor,
Yes.
I have only one question.
Yes, ma'am.
One question only. According to you,
Yes.
not as Mangololo, not as whoever,
Okay.
as a human being, what happened in July, where we saw the massacre of over 70 people, according to you, sir, do you think that is a system, that is a regime that is sympathetic, empathetic to its people, considering that there's only one chain of command? Nobody can go out there with a gun and start shooting. They have to have taken orders. Please, my sir, forget about who you are, forget about where you want to go, forget about everything else. Can you please tell me as a human being, ukuthi lo lokwendeka ngaJune July solo kuhambisana nempilo nokuhlala kahle eMaswati?
What happened during that period arose the concern from sons and daughters of Emaswat to say, we cannot have a country where business people, when they sleep, they are afraid of their properties. This is what made concerned Emaswati to say, the death of people in such a manner is not appreciated. I may have not yet got a report or privilege to read the police report or any other kind of a report that talks about how these people died or when they died.